Hi everyone and welcome along to today. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Esther from Authentise. I'm really excited to introduce you to today's session. We're lucky to be joined by Ari from Ricoh 3D for Healthcare. He's going to walk us through how real-time visibility can transform even the most complex regulated environments. There will be a quick Q&A session later on, so feel free to drop questions in the comments as we go. We'll make sure to cover them before we wrap up. So without any further ado, let's jump straight in. Thank you, Ari.
Yeah, thank you, Esther. Hi, everyone. Nice to kind of host this event with Authentise and kind of share a really impactful part of manufacturing in a very complex environment. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. All right, can everyone see? Esther, can you see my screen? The slide?
I can, yeah.
Okay, perfect. So great, yeah, as Esther has mentioned, the point of this session is to talk through, digitized MES, not only from the operational day-to-day, but what can the day-to-day bring to your business? How can it transform your business? So kind of a simple agenda, go through a little bit about myself, about Ricoh 3D for Healthcare, our unique business challenges, how we leverage Authentise MES day-to-day, and the meat of the presentation, how we're using APIs to really take this data-rich environment and bring immense value to our business. Some future considerations, kind of go through our customer experience, key takeaways, and as Esther mentioned, some questions. Yeah, my name's Ari Howard. I have a background in manufacturing engineering from the additive space, from specifically in the medical device arena. So working with various polymeric applications, metals applications, class 2 devices, some devices such as implants, cutting guides, starting in the CMF region and now going to a Ricoh 3D for Healthcare, which has a really expansive 510K clearance. Following kind of this form of experience, we've had some structural changes, and now I'm in a production management role. So I currently oversee production at a centralized production hub and some personnel at the point of care as well. And activities outside of this, I'm a voting member in ASTM F42, and I was an invited speaker at their ICAM event this year talking about powder reuse. So who is Ricoh 3D for Healthcare? Among many things, our main mission is to expand access to patient-specific medical devices to the masses, right? Patient-specific devices have great efficacy. They really, medicine should be built for the people that they're serving, not the average person, if you will. And so we plan to expand this access to this groundbreaking technology, if you will, through a robust point-of-care manufacturing network. And just real quick, a point-of-care manufacturing, how that's defined is essentially taking medical device production at a traditional hub and putting those, I'll say condensed form of this at the point of care, meaning the hospital network, and so on. And some of the things we do make within this business model, if you will, are patient-specific diagnostic models, medical device, I'll say medical training devices, patient-specific intraoral stents for radiation therapy, and among other many contract manufacturing opportunities we take as well. Being a hub and spoke kind of business model in a regulated environment presents very, I'll say, interesting challenges, right? So being that we do have a hub, we service many customers and many products within our portfolio. We have a bunch of different workflows and processes within the hub environment itself, right? We could have one part coming off of a Formlabs printer, but it might have a different process than a similar product coming off of the same build plate. We also have decentralized QC activities, right? Where we have the ISO 13485 certification. We make a variety of medical devices, and within a regulated environment, how do you confirm at the hub and at the point of care that you have negligible variance and that the customer is getting part that meets very stringent acceptance criteria? And then again, the nature of being a hub and spoke kind of distributed manufacturing network, we have very unique challenges as well, right? How do we print these models? When do we print them, and where do we make them, right? So kind of three key challenges that we've been very fortunate to kind of experiment and play with Authentise to kind of help solve these in, I think, a novel and impactful way. So as far as our day in the life at the MES, right, we do order management, personnel management, right? At the hub, I can assign different personnel I manage to different parts at the line item level if I really wanted to. We can assign workflows, right? So in an instance of one build platform with 2 devices with 2 different workflows, I can assign those separate workflows. Within that, we get unique travelers with QR codes. We can scan them, and the operator is told step by step what to do. They fill out unique tasks and checklists as well. With what we fill out, we do have our DHR basically built within this system, and this MES does serve as our official system of record. And one of the things I really want to drive home here is every click, every number, anything our operators and quality personnel put into the system basically is captured and stored. And so this image I have here really drives, one simple click within daily use of this MES is just a drop in the bucket, creating a very data-rich environment. So, having this big bucket of data, if you will, what are you to do with it? So at the base level, if you do nothing, you can at the very least confirm my operators are following my processes, and I know parts are shipping, and among many other useful items. But you can dig deeper, right? So how do you do this? The tool or vessel we use to put the pieces together are the APIs. So kind of tying back to our business challenges, I kind of wanted to highlight at a high level first, for hub and spoke business and decentralized QC coordination, right? There's this constant handoff. So if you're at a point of care site in Wake Forest, but quality is performed, either remotely or at, say, a hub in Ohio, how do you streamline communication, especially if you're in a high volume environment? And being in a regulated environment, we can't have the MES open, all day, every day. We have to log out for security reasons. So one of the things we were able to do is build a global dashboard within our APIs. I've listed the endpoints that we've used, and I'll go into some methodology later and most likely get into the details with specific questions. But using various endpoints, we were able to perform different queries, merge them together, and make a dashboard that clearly shows when are items being printed, where are they in the process, is it at QC, is it at production, and so on. Another challenge, right, at a hub and spoke model, if you have one hub and 20 spokes, for example, how do you know where to put your next hub? How do you know what your capacity is? And we can get this live data built off of, I'll say, a very comfortable workflow we have day to day from our operators. And then finally, monitoring performance, right? What are time studies, portfolio performance, looking at waste, and even tracking quality events. What's our scrap rate? What's our remanufacturing rate? First pass yield? All of those impactful things. So diving right into it, for hub and spoke logistics, I have a sample view of what our dashboard currently looks like. And I do want to add a disclaimer. The data you're seeing, this is the format that we get, but it is not the exact data that we are getting, just so that everyone's aware. So if you're writing down certain numbers, just know that it's simulated for that, for this presentation. But for this global dashboard, right, this is just one view. We actually have the ability to show what's the order name, what line item is there, right? So if you have an order with 2 distinct parts, you could see, order 1, piece 2. You can see where they are exactly in your process. Very impactful is the current run link we're able to get. So, for example, if you're a QC technician and you have, as you see in order 2, an item ready for you to perform activities, you can look and click this link, and it'll take you directly to the MES to fill out the pertinent information. So not only are we communicating to quality, hey, this is ready for you, we're even saying within a click of a button, you're going exactly to the part of interest. So this direct navigation really has reduced, I'll say, waste in terms of navigating any system. And then obviously we are able to get real-time metrics. So kind of diving in, right, you have the top view, everything is sorted by due date. We're able to have conditional formatting such that, red is due today, yellow we've defined as 5 business days it's due. But then we've also had conditional formatting to streamline communication across different teams, right? So one team within the quality department does QC, another team does DHR review. So if you have a list of, say, 20, 30, 40, 100 parts, you can very clearly navigate and see what's actually ready for you. And then one of the things that's very impactful for production management, you see this time in production. This is a calculated field that we get from the base API query, where we're able to have conditional formatting and see, in the case of order 3, we have plenty of time to get the part out, right? December 22nd. Everyone would love that level of lead time in their workflows, I'm sure. But you can see, just because we have plenty of time to get it out the door, the time in production is 6. And if you have a threshold for your business that says your standard lead time is 1 day, 2 days, whatever have you, you're able to get this real-time feedback as a production manager to be able to seek understanding first, if you will, and then make real-time adjustments to make sure parts don't sit idle. And then in the top right, I kind of show you how we do this. So we pull this data in through Excel. We communicate with the API and pull it directly there using the various endpoints I list here. And then one thing we really found useful from the Authentise APIs is there's this ability to pull, say you pull one API endpoint. They're so robust, you're able to then say, well, I pulled line item, but I also want certain information from my workflow endpoint. And up here, I think I do position status, which is utilizing the flat piece endpoint. And I want to know, all right, I can see every position status here. So in the case of the example below, you can see order 1's in post-processing. That I've ascertained from the flat piece endpoint. Well, if I want to know the name of the user who's been assigned that line item, within various operations, you can merge the user endpoint with the flat piece endpoint, and then basically create this very, I'll say, succinct view saying, all right, order 1, piece 1 is at post-processing, it's assigned to John Doe. And so basically we merged multiple queries to get this functional view you see here. Following that, getting into business planning, right? So this is a view of what we do see. It's not the exact data we have for the bubble chart, but if you want to see your reach or your impact, for example, and you want to have say you have executive level meetings every 2 weeks, month, whatever it may be, and you're finding that you're at capacity at a hub, and you're asking the question critically, well, where should I put my next hub? So if we look at this example, you can see the East Coast is very populated, and perhaps there's a hub listed on the East Coast, but that hub's at capacity, your point of cares are at capacity, and you're having trouble meeting order demand. You could look at a chart like this and go, well, California is really hot right now, and say this is over the course of your fiscal year. You could then look at something, I'll say, quantitatively qualitative and decide where to strategically place your next hub. And to get this, it was very simple, right? We used the flat order endpoint, and I kind of put here using Power BI. I want to say it was 3 clicks, and we were able to get this very impactful set of data. And from various other endpoints, you are able to get different capacity modeling, I'll say information, right? You can limit assumptions. You can get, timestamp data. You can see, if you estimate as a production manager 30 minutes to go through process A, you could then over time see, well, we have variance of 10 minutes. We're averaging 30. You could apply various lean principles and see that variance and adjust your model dynamically, which is very impactful as well. And finally, monitoring performance, the base KPIs that are most meaningful to your business. You'll notice kind of a recurring theme of endpoints here, but pulling these endpoints and kind of doing some base calculations at the query level, you're able to again get very dynamic and real data. So, for example, at the top right, you're able to see between a hub and a point of care, what are your part quantities throughout the fiscal year. You're able to see what your on-time percentages are throughout your network. I don't necessarily show it here, but you are able to break this out even further. So if you see, say August, you don't have 100% on-time percentage. Well, that's pretty bad. You could then break out and go by location and see what these are at the touch of a button. And then finally, a very impactful KPI that we've been using is our response time. So again, these are simulated numbers, but say your business wants to get parts out from order gen to shipped out the door in 4 days. You're able, with various endpoints, you're able to pull, synthesize, calculate, and then report. If you have 4, what's your average? If you're averaging a little over 3 days, that's fantastic. And then kind of looking to the future here, what I've shown is not only kind of made our conversations at the executive level data-driven and more agile. This is only scratching the surface. We found and identified future use cases that we are very happy to be implementing within 2026 as kind of our tentative goal, right? Dynamic material consumption and management. How much material are you going through at each site, so you can plan orders and even work that into your material management agreements with your vendors. What are machine idle times? Not only do I have post-processing, how long it takes to occupy each station, but what's the waste in between, right? Another is smart notifications. So you saw in the dashboard, we have the ability to see, when something's at QC, when something's in production. We're working with the Authentise team now to basically integrate that feature with various other tools so that there's trigger events associated with this. Right now, it is quality management looking at this list, making decisions from there, but we are working towards making this an automated venture. And then, one of the things you have the power to do with APIs just in general is upstream integrations. So at order gen, if you don't leverage Authentise as your kind of order gen system of choice, there are avenues to integrate with your, say your internal order gen. Obviously, I would say reach out to your friendly neighborhood Authentise rep to see that capability, but this is something we are pursuing. And while we are able to currently see bottlenecks at the, I'll say, high level, right? How long has something been in production? We are working towards adding some thresholding values that can then get even more granular, right? So if something's been in production for 6 days, you want it out in 3, having some way to not only list, all right, what station is this occurring at, but even being able to report dynamically, okay, your business has projected, 30 minutes for manual post-processing, removing supports from an SLA part, let's just say, or for a build. You can then, we're working towards automated thresholds that say, if you surpass 30 minutes, flag this as an event for this part or quantity of pieces. And over time, you can get data that can, again, show where are our bottlenecks, not only what are they, but where are they, even getting down to the user level. And just something I want to share, Authentise did not ask me to do this, but I felt so moved to do it here, is the customer experience. While we are working to develop this for Ricoh 3D for healthcare, we've had fantastic and comprehensive customer support. I believe Chris from Authentise is on this call, and we did want to give a special thank you to him in kind of navigating and showing us the capabilities of the APIs. And then the experience we've had with these APIs has been nothing short of spectacular. The question is not necessarily, can we get it from the API, the data we want? The question is, what's the most efficient way to get it? And I'd rather the question be, what's the efficient way to get it, as opposed to, can we get it at all? So as you saw with the ability to merge the queries, you can build out whatever you see fit for your business. So kind of summarizing, the key topics of discussion here is, daily use of the standard flows features really creates a data-rich environment, right? Flows is the fuel to your sports car of a business, right? And out-of-the-box APIs really can take this fuel. It's the engine of the vehicle that can really take you down any path you see fit. So we've been using it for dashboarding, cross-departmental communication handoffs. We've been using it for executive level business planning and performance monitoring at scale. So just a wide world that, again, we're scratching the surface here, but we're very excited to pursue even more work to bring more value to our business, but most importantly to the patients we serve. So with that, I thank you for your attention and ask if there are any questions.
Oh, thank you very much, Ari. We have one question from Derek, and Derek says, did you use Power Automate or Power BI for your API integration?
That is a great question. We have been using Power BI and Excel to get the base data you've been seeing, but we are going to work towards Power Automate for those auto-notified handoffs that I had discussed in the kind of looking to the future.
Okay, we've had another question from Philip. So he says, do you use Authentise tools for your quality management?
I'll say yes and no, right? We have our own EQMS that we do for tracking quality events, but using the run transformation endpoint, we are able to, for production, we're able to track and verify within the EQMS, rates of scrap, rates of rework, time spent on rework. So I'll say a soft yes. We do, I suppose you could say we do our DHR review and host the DHR review natively in Authentise. So hopefully that answers your question.
Perfect. Do we have any more questions? I don't see anyone else typing, but we do have a comment from Chris just to say thank you to yourself and the broader Ricoh team. So if that is it, then I just want to thank everyone for attending. I hope you found this insightful. The video will be available shortly on both YouTube and our website. So thank you very much. Bye.